Like, what in the world? How are you going to say I shouldn't feel that way? What is going on, family and friends? Hope y'all are having a great day. I was just sitting here doing some research for a project I'm working on and just wanted to come to you all and just share a thought with you and maybe perhaps even challenge you. And so the thought is along the lines of an emotional philosophy, right? A lot of us in our families, we don't even know this. Maybe some of us aren't even aware that we in our families have a philosophy of emotions. And it prompted my mind today as I came across a quote, and I'm going to read it here. It says, emotional pain is not something that should be hidden away and never spoken about. There's truth in your pain. There's growth in your pain, but only if it's first brought out into the open. And Stephen Atchiskin said that, I guess. Sorry about that. I don't know how to say his name. But all that to say, I was thinking about that and thought emotional pain is not something that should be hidden away and never spoken about. There's truth in your pain. There's growth in your pain, but it's only if it's first brought out into the open. And I know that some people may have a problem with that. And so as I was looking at my boy, John Gottman, who is a huge researcher on marriage and family and relationships. This is the book that I would definitely recommend you check out, not even just from a marriage relationship context, but in any relationship that you had. He has really great principles in here, very research driven. He's very well known in the industry for research on families and couples and that kind of a thing. But he talked about these types of emotional philosophies. And so I wanted to share them with you, maybe encourage you to reflect on maybe your philosophy of emotion, and then challenge you in what you believe about expressing emotion and even understanding emotions and how they influence us and the way we relate with one another. So here are the four emotional influences that he talks about. One is emotion dismissing, right? And this philosophy sounds like you'll get over it, cheer up, and oftentimes that type of attitude in relationships will lead to someone withdrawing, right, from moving away from you and turning away from you. Emotion disapproving is something that sounds like, oh, you shouldn't feel that way, or you better change your attitude. And that also can lead to when someone feels dismissed and their emotions and their experiences feel disregarded, that can tend to cause someone to want to come against you. Like, what in the world? How are you going to say I shouldn't feel that way? So that disapproving creates distance in relationships. You have a laissez-faire approach, which is, I understand how you feel, but it stops right there. There's no seeking to understand. There is no empathy. There is not any recommendations for how to process and to share your feelings with someone. And so that a lot of times can cause someone to maybe turn towards you, but really not feel like they were heard and they were understood, their emotional experiences. And the last one is emotion coaching. And this is someone who, when you share your emotional experience with them, they say, I understand how you feel. Let me help you. And this leads to more openness. This leads to someone wanting to move towards you, not away from and not against from you. And so you can imagine which of these type of philosophies is going to promote connection and intimacy and bonding and meaningful relationships with one another. And I'm so passionate about this because as the project that I'm working on right now deals with foster and adoptive parents and how they can connect to their children who have been traumatized. And so if we don't understand our own emotional philosophy and what we believe about people's emotional experiences, whether you've been traumatized or not, and you don't seek to understand, you don't seek to lean in and understand that person's emotional experience, if you're dismissive, if you have a laissez-faire approach, if you disapprove because whatever in your own family of origin says, there's different attitudes where we don't talk about feelings or we only celebrate the positive feelings and we ignore what some people would call negative feelings, or I would say are maybe uncomfortable feelings or undesirable feelings a lot of times, sometimes we don't want to acknowledge those things. And so being aware of others' emotional experiences, moving in toward them to understand and empathize rather than to say you shouldn't feel that way or something must be wrong with you. Let us all work together to really understand that, number one, we have a philosophy. We do have thoughts and strong convictions about what we think about emotions and emotions in other people. And let us, evaluate that, and let's seek according to what my boy Gottman is saying is the recommended philosophy that works best is emotion coaching environments where people can feel safe, where they receive the support, emotional support that they need, and they have a safe place to be able to share their pain, their sorrow, their grief, their apprehension, their anxiety, their depression, their frustration, all those feelings that a lot of times, sometimes maybe we don't want to hear, or we don't want to go on that journey with someone to really understand. But if we are really looking to promote healthy relationships with one another in our marriages, with our coworkers, with our bosses, with our friends, we really need to get a handle on what we believe about emotions, and then really seek to move toward each other by seeking to understand, listening, offering support, and coming alongside of someone and saying, how can I help you? How can I support you? And validating their feelings, not minimizing them, not trivializing them, and not dismissing them. That does not promote connection in any kind of relationship. And so, y'all, that's all I have for you today. I had to get on my soapbox for a minute. I don't hardly ever come on here and talk about this, but this is so, so important to me as someone who is a strong feeler, who's someone that some people may think is overly sensitive or over emotional, and who's someone who is also trying to understand her own emotional sense of well-being and going on this journey. And so I thought that was so important to just come out here and talk to you all and to challenge you. What is your emotional philosophy regarding understanding and acknowledging the feelings of yourself and the feelings of those around you? And is your philosophy creating barriers, or is it creating opportunities for connection with others? That's my thought for today. I hope you will choose emotion coaching as your philosophy, and that you will work to have great relationships with those around you. Signing off. Have a great day, y'all. Take care. Bye.